Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to show you my new secondary heater for the greenhouse. I've been looking for something for when the power goes out in the wintertime that's semi-portable, and I'm able to just put it in here for the wintertime and have it so it's like on standby but not used. I use electric heat in the greenhouse, but I wanted something, like I say, for when the power goes out. So right now, when the power goes out, I have a generator. I pull it out of the basement and I'm able to run the heat from the generator with electric heat. But the generator is noisy, runs off gas, or runs off like gasoline. And it's on the other side of the house. So I wanted something that if the power goes out in the middle of the night and I don't notice, it's going to have a thermostat, and if the power goes down too low, this will kick on. And so I did a bunch of research, and this is my Mr. Heater Blue Flame Propane Heater. So this is a ventless heater, and which was scary to me because, I guess, well, most heaters need to be vented. And so I did a bunch of research before I bought this one and decided it was indeed safe. It's for purposes like your actual house, like you put a ventless heater in your living room or in your basement or stuff like that. So I figure if it's good enough for there, it's good enough for the greenhouse, because let's face it, this greenhouse is not airtight. There's lots of ventilation in here. It does have some safety features, a tip over feature. It does have a low oxygen sensor, so if anything was to happen, it would just shut off. I haven't had to really run it yet. I've just done some sort of experiments with it because I've had it about a week. And thus far, I mean, it works perfectly. There's no red flags at all. But it's nice. This is the 20,000 BTU unit, and I'll move in a little bit closer and show it to you in a second. I got this unit as opposed to the smaller one, not because I needed something bigger, but because this has an actual thermostat on it. So this is the smallest size blue flamed heater I could find that has an actual thermostat on it. So let's go in for a closer look. So it's run off propane, and you can see the pilot light there. I basically just have it set on low, and I have it set on low all the time. The first few days, these cups are just in case of splashing. It took me a while. Number one here, which is the lowest setting, seems to be below 67 Fahrenheit, because I have my heat set in here, my electric heat, and it's set to 70 Fahrenheit, 71 Fahrenheit, and this does not come on. So it's meant on this setting that if the electric heat was to stop for whatever reason and my greenhouse dropped a few degrees, this would then kick on and take over. So yeah, that is the starter switch for it, for the pilot light. And it's super easy to light. So you just go from the off position to pilot over here, push it down, hit this. It's got an electric starter, it's battery operated, starts the pilot light right away. I set it to low. With some experimenting, if I set it to 2, that's about 75 degrees. And if I set it to 3, it's about 80 degrees, 79 degrees. So I don't ever set it to those. And again, it's not meant for me running in here all the time. Although, man, it throws off some heat. So, a few things I did do. Just for drips of water, I put this metal tape on it in case, because there was a seam here. I didn't want water dripping in it. It does meet all the standards for like distance and height away from the ceiling and everything like that in the book. So I should be good there. I was worried about how hot this was going to get. And let me just turn it on for a second. So if you go down here, there we go. It's a bright day, so you're not going to be able to see much light. The flame's actually about 4 inches tall, even though it looks like it's only like tiny. But anyways, so we'll turn it on. And I was worried about how much heat this was going to throw off and which direction the heat was going to go, if I was going to cook my plants or do anything like that. And again, I've only run it for experiments, and it's not been running long term. And I'm not going to be using it as my main central heating, but I was worried about how hot things were going to get. And plants right here do not burn. This does not get hot up here at all. So that's nice. If you're silly enough to put your hands here, you're going to get burned. But we just don't want to put our hands right there, right? So obviously this is where the heat's coming off right here, and then so it's quite hot right here, but off to the sides it stays stone cold. Down below is stone cold. The back is totally cold. So it's really nice that way. And I can just start to feel the heat again when I put my hands out in front of it. It is just convection heat, I guess. So hot air rises. There's a fan I could install in the back of this unit. But being this unit is meant for when the power goes out, the fan is electric and I wouldn't have a fan running anyways since I'm not using it for my main heat source. I found there's no point to doing that. What else can I tell you about this? It was super easy to hook up. I had to buy a few attachments so that it would hook up to a propane tank as opposed to wiring it in. Right now the temperature in here is 76 degrees, and with the thing running, it heats it up in here super fast. So it's in the warm side of the greenhouse. The air then bleeds out to the cool side of the greenhouse, or I can open the little drop down door that's right behind me here, so I can heat both sides of the greenhouse with this as I need to. But yeah, so I don't know what else I can tell you about this. I think it's I wish it was a little smaller. I needed it to be this big for the thermostat. I couldn't have something that was low, medium, and high. I needed something that had a thermostat so that when I wasn't paying attention, when the power goes out, it just would automatically take over and kick in. So it makes me a little bit more confident, being it does throw off a tremendous amount of heat. I was heating this greenhouse with a 1200 watt heater. And so this would be equivalent if I converted BTUs to about 5700 watts of heat. So it's like way stronger than my heater, even though I'm not going to be using it for much. It's hooked up to a 20-pound propane tank at the back of the greenhouse, and right now I'm just testing to see how long the pilot light will stay on with the 20 pounds of propane. So I'm hoping to get I'm hoping it will be fairly cheap and it will last for a long time on the pilot light. Like if a 20-pound tank only lasts 20 days not using it because the pilot light's burning it all, that's like $1 a day just for the pilot light. So I don't have numbers for this yet. It seems like the pilot light hasn't really moved the gauge on the propane tank yet, which is nice. But still, we're in the early stages. So hopefully I can give you an update on this. What else can I tell you? Everything in the greenhouse is designed, even with the lights and everything, so water doesn't hit them. This is in a spot where water doesn't hit it. It's right by the lights. I would literally have to do something stupid in order to hit this with water. And yeah, I'm happy with it so far. Let's turn it back down. Let's turn it back off. So that warmed it up to 77. Oh, and you know what? It's already off now. See? It warmed it to 77, and that's at 3. So there we go. I said 79 or so. So we're going to put it back to there. I heard a little click. Turn it back to that. Move that back. Lights back on. And yeah, it's 77 degrees in here now. Warmed up like 3 or 4 degrees and just like a degrees a minute sort of thing. But yes, so there's an alternative for anybody looking for heating a greenhouse with when you have no electricity. The other thing with this, there's 2 kinds of Mr. Heaters. Here we go. Here's something good. There is this kind. This is a blue flame Mr. Heater. What that does is the blue flame actually warms the air. So it warms, the fans would blow it around, or in the power outages, I guess it would just warm the air. And then the other kind, which is a little bit cheaper, is the infrared Mr. Heater. And you're definitely able to tell the difference. Instead of a blue flame, you literally have like a red panel. And so the red panel warms objects, which is exactly what I didn't want. If that was sitting here, it would be coming across and like burning the plants on the other side, or wherever it was facing, it would just like radiate heat directly at them, but not warm the air. So we want to make sure we're not getting an infrared one. I tried infrared in the greenhouse years ago and it was like complete failure. It just didn't work at all. Plants got nice, I'm sure, but the temperature in here never actually went up. But so yeah, I made sure I got the blue flame, not the infrared. That's the only other pertinent piece of information. I will keep you updated on this. I know there's going to be some people that are kind of freaked out about a ventless heater in a greenhouse like this. I was as well. I did do a bunch of research, and it is deemed safe for inside your house, which before I did the research was mind-blowing. I didn't realize that they had this kind of technology yet. Other than that, I have taken notice of the spaces on either side and above, so that's nice as well, that it doesn't have to be huge spaces anywhere, because it doesn't get hot other than right in front. Keep in mind, this is a fairly large greenhouse. It is 10 by 18 by 9.5 feet tall at the ceiling. So if we break that down into cubic feet, we have quite a few cubic feet in here to heat. It's not a tiny greenhouse. I wouldn't put this in just like a little 4x6 greenhouse or something like that. It would just be too small of a greenhouse, too tight of a space for it. But when you're working with 10 by 18 by 9.5, it seems to work just fine for that sort of spacing. And yeah, I'm sure I will talk about this more in the future. It's too new right now. I can't even talk about it. I wish I could tell you. I want to find out how much it costs to run this. I want to find out how much it just costs to run the pilot light, just in case I need this as a backup. And I want to, let you know how it actually works. Even with electric heat, one of my biggest fears is on a winter day, or even a late fall day when the weather's not so nice. I just go to town for the day, planning on being back for the evening, and the power goes out when I leave town. And the greenhouse just, the temperature would just fall in here if it was, say, only 5 or 0 degrees outside or whatever. I would barely even know that it was, the only thing I would know if the power went out is my sensors wouldn't be working, so I wouldn't be able to tell the temperature, so I would know something is wrong. But with this, if I leave, the power goes out, the pilot light is on, it just kicks on when it gets a little bit colder, and yeah, it's going to be great. Anyways, I hope you like this video. How to heat a heater with propane off the grid, sort of. Probably going to be a little bit more expensive if you're to run this all the time, but I'm not planning on running it hardly at all. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.